Do not misunderstand the title, which will be something like politically correct language is not bad because of these reasons. This video isn't taking a stance on the politically correct debate. I haven't looked enough stuff up about it for a stance like that just yet. But politically correct language is not bad because of these reasons. These reasons are not reasons why PC is bad. This is a video by the channel Counter Argument, who, in my opinion, sometimes do great stuff. But sometimes also bad. This one really annoyed me. And I feel I have enough knowledge to tackle this one. Let me know which one of those two you think was more important to me.
Political correctness is America's newest form of intolerance, and it's especially pernicious because it comes disguised as tolerance.
Political correctness is avoiding words or behaviors that exclude, marginalize, or insult groups of people who are socially disadvantaged or discriminated against. Basically, treating people with respect.
It presents itself as fairness, yet attempts to restrict and control people's language with strict codes and rigid rules.
Oh, look how bad it is. A smiley out of razor wire. People who haven't been on my channel for a while know that I'm not against this. Look at the rules for my comment section. No meaningless insults. Does this go against free speech? Yes. Is losing that part of free speech a great loss? Not in my opinion. You don't have the right to offend someone without a point. Booty fucking who? Any topic can be discussed. Any opinion made known. Though if you want to say that you hate all white people, you'll have to make clear that it's you who's having that opinion. Any idea can be explained. You just can't insult someone for no reason. Now my stance on this is no. And you'll know if you agree with me. So you can like or dislike the video. Or you are that rare 1% statistic I pulled out of my ass that actually listen to what someone has to say.
I'm not sure that's the way to fight discrimination. I'm not sure silencing people or forcing them to alter their speech is the best method for solving problems that go much deeper than speech. Perhaps you've noticed that when the politically correct liberal rule makers decide to rename a group of humans they view as victims, they begin by imparting a sense of shame to the group's existing name.
This is actually a fair point. I'm not for making a label negative and then changing it. I'm not for making mental illness a negative word and then changing it with something else. I'm pro removing positive and negative annotations for words. I'm for making mental illness normal. Storytime. As a kid, I could never understand why they changed the product, and remember, these names are translated, so they'll sound dumb, nigger kisses to just kiss. Was it really offensive? Neger was just a word. It wasn't good or bad. It was just a word. The day before writing this, I was at the Porta Nigra. Should that be changed to just Porta? Because Nigra relates to Neger, which we decided is bad? It's just odd to remove words.
And so somewhere over the years, the word cripple has been discarded. No one mentions cripples anymore. That's because in yet another stunning attempt to stand reality on its head, cripples have been assigned a new designation, the physically challenged.
And here I unfortunately bump into a language barrier. Dutch doesn't, to my knowledge, have a word for cripple. I don't know, I don't have a feel for all the meanings of the word. We have verlamd, but that seems to translate better to paralyzed.
The use of physically challenged is an obvious attempt to make people feel better. The idea being, As long as we can't cure these people, let's give their condition a more positive name and maybe it'll distract everyone.
And that is bad because... Seriously, that's what many of his arguments come from. Why can't we use the old word? I'm not pro removing words, but language evolves. New words get introduced, old words will be getting used less and less. Don't like it? Too bad! It's how language works. Would love it if it didn't, as then we would all speak the same language and we wouldn't have to learn more than one. But then we also wouldn't have a word for computer, so I guess it's a necessity of communication.
The same is true of the ungainly phrase, differently abled. I believe that if a person is going to insist on using tortured language, such as differently abled, then he should be forced to use it to describe everyone. You can do things I can't do, I can do things you can't do. We're all differently abled.
So, does this guy just not get it? Differently abled. Yeah, everyone is able to do different things. But someone's abilities are much more different from the average person. But I think he gets this. He just doesn't like how it sounds. Too fucking bad! Who fucking cares if it sounds nice? What matters is that it explains what a person has to deal with. Both the handicapped person, and yes, that's the word I use, and the people around him. It's a tool for communication. Not to make nice sounding lyrics for a fucking song. There might be a point to be made against PC culture, but that it doesn't sound nice isn't one of them.
It should be explained to liberals, patiently, that crippled people don't require some heroic designation. It's a perfectly honorable condition. It appears in the Bible.
Well, fuck. Now we know he's not going to make a good point. Nothing against religion or religious people, but I haven't seen anyone quote the Bible and make a good point at the same time. Ever.
Jesus healed the cripples. He didn't engage in rehabilitative strategies to improve the conditions of the physically disadvantaged.
Gee, really? I don't think he did that either. That's not what the Bible says, either. The Bible says something that none of us can read in a dead language. In your translation of the Bible, it says cripples. In a Dutch Bible, it will talk about verlamde mensen. In 500 years, it will say something completely different. If we are still printing Bibles at that point, that is. Christ, you are quoting a modern translation of a book as proof that an unproven God says crippled. I expect that the silliness in that statement speaks for itself.
Can't these liberals hear how unattractive this language is? How poorly it sits on the ear?
Yay! More proof that he hates BC because it doesn't sound nice. Who the fuck cares? If you want something to sound nice, go listen to music, while the adults are trying to have a conversation.
Then there are those who don't quite measure up to society's accepted standards of physical attractiveness. The worst of that group are called ugly.
So you're going from the objective point of handicapped people to the extremely subjective point of ugliness. Not the wisest move possible.
Or at least they used to be. The PC lingo cops have been working on this too. And to demonstrate how far all this politically correct, evasive language has gone, some psychologists are actually now referring to ugly people as those with severe appearance deficits.
Yeah, how dare you not call ugly people ugly? I dare you to call someone ugly right now. Oh, you don't want to be mean? Grow up. Walk up to that lady on the street and call her ugly. If you try to use other words, you're a dirty PC liberal.
Okay? Severe appearance deficits. Regarding people's appearance, the political language police already have in place one comically distorted term, lookism. They say that when you judge a person, or rather size them up, wouldn't want to judge someone, that would be judgmental. If you take their looks into account, you're guilty of lookism.
So, is he seriously saying that not judging people on how they look is bad? What am I supposed to say to that? No, Georgie, Mila is not a better person than Sophie because she has nicer tits. Seriously?
You're a lookist, and those valiant people who fight lookism, many of them unattractive themselves, tell us that one problem is that in our society, those who get to be called beautiful and those who are called ugly are determined by standards arbitrarily set by us.
This is correct? Do you really think beauty is objective? I know certain traits aren't genetically wired to be more attractive than others, but that doesn't make them objective. It's still just what hormones are released when somebody sees someone. That's it. There isn't a constant of beauty, it's just what the human species generally calls beautiful.
Somehow there's some fault attached to the idea that we, the people, are the ones who set the standards of beauty.
Well, it means that it's pretty meaningless and completely useless.
Well, we're the ones who have to look at one another, so why shouldn't we be the ones who set the standards?
Oh, poor fucking you. You have to look at Sophie, who has to deal with a really painful and ugly rash, instead of looking at Mila's tits all day.
I would say the whole thing was stupid, but that's my next topic.
And it's finally time where this guy goes from making pity claims to this guy has no idea why words are used. And where my experience goes from secondhand with a disabled brother, don't say something like I'm sorry to hear that, he's the happiest twat you'll ever see, to first-hand experience.
So, it's important to face one thing about stupidity. We can't get away from it. It's all around us.
You have no idea. Yes, I know that was way too easy. But come on, he set it up way too perfectly for me not to take it.
Doesn't take a team of professional investigators to discover that there are stupid people in the world.
It's fine.
But where do these stupid people come from? Well, they come from American schools. But while they're attending these schools, they're never identified as stupid, which may be contributing to the problem. Unfortunately, kids, stupid or otherwise, come under a sort of protective umbrella we've established that prevents them from being exposed to the real world until at 18 their parents spring them on the rest of us, full grown. There are stupid kids.
There are schools in other countries than America. Or do you think that only American schools have dumb kids in them? I mean, I'm not going to word my disagreement against that, but still. So, let's call stupid kids stupid. Nothing mentally scarring about people with a 40 or your fucking parents calling you stupid. Nah, it's fine. Just tell kids you don't believe to behave in an acceptable way that they're dumb and should never attempt anything. Two things. One, you seem to lack empathy, which makes you dangerous. Two, if you call kids dumb, what will that achieve? Will it lead to them no longer being dumb? No, you identified it as something they objectively are, or at least you try to. If they are objectively dumb, what is telling them they are dumb going to do? They are still dumb. You achieved nothing.
And I do wish to be careful how I negotiate the minefield of the learning disabled and the developmentally disadvantaged. In other words, those with special needs. All of these being more examples of this tiresome and ridiculous language.
Welcome to my domain. This is my biggest problem with this video. This dude doesn't seem to understand the nuances to mental disabilities. They are all just stupid. You have a condition that leads you to finding it hard to focus? No, you are stupid. Thanks to complications at birth, your brain is damaged in such a way that you have a hard time dealing with numbers. No, you are stupid. You have a well understood mental disability that runs in families, and runs in your family. That makes it hard to spell, read and learn new languages. No, I am stupid. ADD or ADHD, dyscalculia, dyslexia, etc. have nothing to do with how smart a person is. It hurts your ability to learn and think in specific areas. Yet doesn't mean that you are just all stupid. But not in this guy's ideal world. There we are just all stupid. Do I feel attacked? Not really. I'm more offended by his oversimplification of complex problems and conditions than that he calls me stupid. Seriously, this is the type of dude that would complain that more and more people are getting diagnosed with autism. Not seeing that the number of people with autism spectrum disorder doesn't change. We just find out about more of them. Which is great, as we can help people then. This is the type of guy that would say, cheer up, to somebody with depression. Saying bullshit like, we'll get sad sometimes. Am I being a bit harsh on this guy, making him look like the worst type of person? Maybe, but from what he's shown so far, it's accurate. But maybe the last minute can show me that this accusation is wrong. Let's hope I am.
One of the terms now used to describe these stupid kids is minimally exceptional. Can you handle that? Minimally exceptional. Whatever happened to the old reliable explanation? The boy is slow. Some of the other children are quick. They think quickly. Not this boy. He's slow. It seems humane enough to me, but no, he's minimally exceptional. Political correctness cripples discourse, creates ugly language, and is generally stupid. This language renders completely useless at least one perfectly good expression. In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king becomes, in the kingdom of the visually impaired, the partially sighted person is fully empowered. Sad, isn't it?
Oh, booty fucking who? It doesn't sound pretty, guys. Dyslexic doesn't sound as nice as dumb. Autistic doesn't sound as pretty as social retard. Too fucking bad. We don't have words to sound pretty. We don't have language to make fancy sounding quotes. We have these annoying necessities to communicate. We explain things and to help each other. This might be my dyslexia talking, but I never find beauty in language. So let's rip into that quote of him for fun, shall we? In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Let's address the two uses of king. That's just bad writing. So let's fix that. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. That's a dyslexic, giving you a better sounding translation. Because of course this is also a translation. And if in the kingdom of the visually impaired, the partially sighted person is fully empowered, conveys the message better, then we should use that. Sure, it sounds less fancy and shit, but if that statement carries more or better information, we should use that instead. No one but poets and music writers should care about how it sounds. We should care about what it conveys. It's so fucking simple. This is why these are shit reasons to be against PC culture. You can be against it, no problem. I haven't made up my mind. But if I find myself pro PC culture, then I'm still not against you being against it. But if you are against them for these reasons, we are going to have a problem. You, George, want people to start saying stupid again. Very well. You, my good sir, are stupid. This has been Phoenix, saying farewell.